Hey everybody, Chris J here. So that song you just heard there is from Corey Young, and this guy is hit. He has this bluesiness to him, which is so awesome. He's played a bunch of our shows. His father is actually passed away from COVID in the line of duty, and he was in San Bernardino. So I just want to say thank you to him for sharing his music and letting us play it on this podcast. I'm gonna play the rest of that song as always at the end of this podcast. So today we interviewed Jenelle Batchelor. She is the aunt of fallen Sacramento PD officer Tara O'Sullivan. And Tara was killed in the line of duty just a little over a year ago. So we have a great conversation about her family and their process of what they're going through and the life of Tara. So enjoy. Hi.
Hello.
So why don't you tell me about who Tara was?
Let's see. Putting Tara into words is sometimes hard, but I will do the best I can. And she was infectious and fiercely spirited. You think of a warrior woman, and that was Tara. You told her she couldn't do something, and she didn't just do it. She did it better than anybody else had done it before. She was humble when she needed to be, but used that ability to do everything bigger and better to help her get where she wanted to go and to help other people. She could connect with anybody. Everybody thought that Tara was their best friend because she just genuinely loved people. She was the best kid ever. I was 13 when she was born, so I basically grew up with her.
Wow.
We went through the childhood to the teen to the adult, and watching a baby grow up to a human and being so close, watching her mature and grow into the role that led her to, the police force was something that was inspiring.
Did she always want to be a cop?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
From as little as being 4 or 5, she would dress up, or when they would have the police officers that would come to the school things and write out, pretend tickets, she would get those. She would talk for hours. She's bossy and she loves to tell people what to do. And so she was like, I can tell people what to do when I grow up.
Perfect. Perfect. Did you guys have other law enforcement? Were you around law enforcement, or is she the first one?
She's the first one in our side of the family. We have others that have followed, but she was the first.
You mean after her?
Yes. Well, not after, it was concurrently. We have a nephew-in-law. So one of her sister's fiancés is also in the law. And then we have a few cousins, I believe, that are talking about it. So
Now, is there inspiration to become police officers because of Tara?
I think my kids are talking about it, and some of them say they do want to do it because of Tara. Thankfully, they're young. The ones
Yeah.
that are talking about it's only 10. I'm like, we've got a few years, so we can look at it and see how it evolves. The one family member that we currently have, I believe he is every day reminded of Tara, and so it does help him get through his days. But he had already been in it before, so.
Okay. Tell me about your favorite memory with Tara. I'm
Oh.
sure there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot.
There are so many. I think the one that comes to mind is I went through a rocky divorce about 10 years ago. And so she was old enough at the time to come visit me and the kids. And we were living on our own. And, that's an emotional time in your life. I was still pretty young. And she would come over and she would just turn the radio on loud and we would just sing out of key and just those, heart sobby songs. And then we'd laugh at each other.
Right.
I think anytime I was with her, she would, even in the worst of situations, get you to laugh. That sense of humor, and that's just one of many. I mean, I wasn't able to attend certain things, but watching her graduation, another favorite memory is my 5-year-old is on the autism spectrum. and he does not just go to anybody. And the two of them are just like water. I mean, he just plopped down on her lap, and as if it was nothing big deal, she just knew exactly how to connect with him. And so those memories are the ones that always come out, her goofy, just love for life and love for everybody, regardless of what they're battling.
She sounds like an amazing person.
Very.
She really does. So how did we meet? Well, this is the first time we're actually seeing each other or anything, but I think just on Facebook. I forgot. I'm sorry.
So Kelly DeSasio, who is Davy, is one of my friends, but she was my husband's friends. They grew up together.
Okay.
And she lost her father in the line of duty in the 80s when she was young. And
Right.
so she introduced me to what you guys do. And I'd known about it. And then after Tara, she kind of pushed me a little bit more to get involved. And so you had reached out for that also after Tara. But something a lot of people don't know about our family is Tara was the rarity in our family. The rest of us are very introverted and quiet and kind of hide from the spotlight. So her murder was very surprising for us because there was so much attention. The news coverage, the people reaching out, everything on the internet. It was a lot. And so at that time, it was like, okay, I'll select things. And I knew you were, quote unquote safe because Kelly worked with you guys. I think her whole family does actually. And so for me, I had that vouch from her. That was really nice. And
Good.
so you're one of the nonprofits that the family has talked about. And we haven't done much yet. We're 15 months out almost. And so I think we're just getting our sea legs and kind of learning like, okay, where can we help? What can we do?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's I've been doing a few of these podcasts so far, and it's tough to reach out to people and ask. So I appreciate you being very receptive to it.
Absolutely. I always say that this has taught me how to say no, or I'll think about it a lot better.
Yeah.
It's also taught me that life is short.
Yeah.
And she was only 26 and I just turned 40. So we say yes a lot more than we used to, but we also reserve it for when we need to. And you guys have all been wonderful in respecting that we don't always know what to say or do, and sometimes we just can't. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a lot of feedback when I started the nonprofit. You get the whole spectrum, people just wanting to help, wanting to, even though they are reminded of the pain, they still welcome you with open arms. And then I've had the other spectrum where they're very sorry about that.
You're fine.
They're very thankful, but even years later they feel guilty for not going or showing up. And I've been in a few positions where I'm like, wow, I feel like the bad person for asking. So I don't do much reaching out. I think I'm trying to do events and just get the word out there. And if people want to reach out to us, that's kind of the approach I'm taking now,
Yeah.
But it's real tough. It's a tough situation. And you guys, your family and you, it happened 2019, right?
Yeah.
June 19th.
Yeah.
June 19th. So, I mean, it's been a year and 3 months.
Yeah, the 19th, it'll be a year and 3 months.
So how has just seeing that whole process of a fallen officer and being involved in it it must be overwhelming at first, and then just kind of taking a step back a year later, how has it changed? Is it, stays positive and strong? How do you feel about that? Does it kind of dissipate? And if it does, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like people are forgetting? Do you know what I'm trying to ask? Like, what happens when time goes on?
I think the first year for us is full of the whys. Like why? Just why?
Right,
There's a lot of whys. And this second year, we're in the how. How can we help? How can we keep our memory alive? How can we continue to help her brothers and sisters? How can we support others that are hurting? So we've kind of moved from the why, at least I have. I mean, we'll always wonder why. That won't ever go away. But to the how. I think it's been particularly hard for our family in the aspect of COVID has shut everything down.
Yeah.
And so we haven't been able to do her name at the Sacramento Memorial. We missed Police Week this year. So we kind of feel like we're on pause in some areas, but we don't want that to stop us from the momentum of what the family's done for, they've raised tens of thousands of dollars for canines,
Wow. Okay.
mom and dad. They've done, they're working on getting Martinez PD canines. There's things like that that we don't want to lose the momentum, because we've kind of felt like everything was put on pause, and we're like, no, our life hasn't paused. We've had to keep moving forward every day. And it dissipates. There's days that, you just go through. I've got 5 kids at home. I'm distance learning. I run a business. I'm a busy person.
Right.
It's easy to cognitively dissonance myself and not think about it.
Yeah.
We've also spent a lot of time learning to sit in the grief and the pain and say, it's okay. I think that's one of my biggest messages to other line of duty death survivors, that I want them to hear. It's okay to hurt. We don't have to be strong. We don't have to put on a strong face every single day. And that's hard, because we want to make Tara proud. But some days we cry. I get on my spin bike and there's just a certain song that comes on, and it's tears and sweat, and thank goodness you can't tell which is which. But it happens, and we're learning to kind of sit in that and use that to fuel us. I think we are afraid of Tara's name being forgotten, and that she was only on duty 6 months, but she wanted to change the world, and she wanted to start that in Sacramento. And so we want to carry that on and do the best we can. We don't know how. We're still trying to find out. Like I said, we're in the how stage now.
Right. That's beautiful. Yeah, music's a strong thing, isn't it?
Yes.
What kind of music did Tara like?
Okay, sorry, my teenager. Tara loved anything that made her dance.
Okay.
She
Nice.
loved to dance. I am petrified to dance. But she loved to dance. She also had kooky favorites that we have, like the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack. That is like, any of us hear it and we're all smiles. I'm sure everybody's heard the SpongeBob, anything SpongeBob music soundtrack. And
She just wanted to dance.
Movement, yeah, just moving and being goofy and smiling. She just loved it. And anything that made her heart feel too. And so some of those songs that will come on are ones that kind of tug us in the heartstrings and make us think of her. But it's also, our signs that we're seeing. We're like, okay, you're still here. You're right by us. You're with us. You're in my kids.
Right. I was looking back at some of our messages, and you had mentioned something about your son, I think, was very close to her, your 9-year-old, and about a pin that you received that you don't know who gave it to you. Let's try to use this platform. Let's see if we could find out who that is. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. So the week after was Tara's funeral. I believe it was the following Friday. And my son had just turned 9. Tara and him were our besties. From birth, she called him her kid. She decided that was her boy. And she even called him Auntie. That's the connection that they had. His name is Ryder, and he also got sensory issues. And so the funeral was extremely overwhelming for him. But I had to make the decision of, do I take him or do I not? And I didn't want to rob him of that. And so it was rough watching my kids, especially my 9-year-old, get through that. And afterwards, they do the gun salute and the hearse. And my dad and my mom grabbed him, thankfully, because I had 2 other kids to worry about, and myself and my husband. And they walked at the front behind with my sister and her husband and my other nieces and nephews. So they were at the very front of the procession following her to the hearse. And a random I don't know who officer, I'm assuming from LAPD because it says the LAPD Association, handed him a pin. And he was about to go on a full-on meltdown because
Oh,
taps, the gun salute, our favorite bagpipes now. It was a lot. It was long. And he grabbed onto that and it helped him just get through the rest of that day. Sorry.
it's okay.
um, Again, probably another sign that Tara was right there with us.
Yeah.
Whoever the officer did exactly what Tara would have done because she loves kids. She had a major in child development, so she knows about kids and the effects on that. And somebody took the time that was standing there in line in that sun and decided to give that to my son. And I'd
So,
love to find who it was and say
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So hopefully we get this podcast out to the masses. And if somebody hears that story, if that's you, hit us up and let's get you guys connected for sure.
My son would absolutely love to say thank you. And I would, as a mom, the hardest part of this has been watching my children grieve.
Yeah.
And so that moment helped him go, wow, someone's still thinking about me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, is that me or is that you?
That is not me. I'm texting my daughter to quiet down because she's in her room being very loud.
No worries. So I want to thank you for allowing yourself to be open and honest and vulnerable and maybe bring back some of those memories that I know they're tough questions and this is something hard to do. You say you're introverted, but I think today you displayed some of Tara's extroverted qualities. So I'm sure seeing that through you, I'm sure she's here with us also. So before we go, just moving forward, how can we continue to honor Tara? How can I? How can we? Everybody.
Well, you already do what she would be doing right now if she was still here. And let all our brothers and sisters know we love them, we support them. If you need a hug, come get it. I know we're not supposed to be hugging right now, but I'm not a hugger, and we turned into huggers after this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And, I think the biggest thing is that there's so much going on in the world right now that it's a scary time to be an officer.
Yeah.
And behind that officer is a whole host of family. There's a whole lot of us that love and support. And one day, every time that call happens, it's a trickle effect. And support the officers, support their families, and reach out. We're open. Our family's been very open that we're here. We support, and we're still here. We're not leaving Sacramento PD, and that goes for any PD. I work with the UC Merced Police Department here as much as I can.
Yeah.
We work with them. We want to bridge that gap between the community and police departments so that some of the political stuff we're dealing with, we can maybe help go away and support you all. That's really important to us. I don't want any officer laying their head down at night going, sure wish I wasn't doing this anymore. We want to support you guys. We want you to know that we are thankful. Tara can't do it anymore, but you guys are all carrying it out. And so whatever we can do to support that. And if more people would do that, I think this world might be just a little bit better of a place. And I think that's a lot of where we're at. Like I said, we're at the how. How can we help you guys? How can we help the world? How can we help officers and families?
Awesome. And we'll definitely be in communication and offer our help. And I know we're supposed to get some tattoos to you guys through our Inked in Honor. And we're going to help you as much as we can to spread that message so we could honor Tara in the best light possible. Okay.
Awesome. And let us help. Let us help. I think that's how we like to honor her is if we can help that, that's who Tara was. That's who we are. That's where she came from.
For sure. All right.
Awesome.
Well, nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I won't give in to the doubts in my head. Not no more. I won't give in to the people who said less than nothing. I'm taking back my life. Gonna prove you were wrong. I won't give in to a reality where I'm not a winner. I bet you thought I would quit on laughing right away. All the hate that you keep on throwing gives me energy that fuels my day. Everyone around me always be hating. That's okay. I'll prove everyone in the entire world wrong. I'm stronger now. I don't doubt myself no more. I'm wiser now. Words can't tear me down no more. I'm reborn and I got a new soul. Failure, I ain't gonna accept that fate no more. I bet you